Hey, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Your support helps my channel go. I have loaded into proc. I'm here in my M4190 GF, the Girlfriend, also known as the Black Dog, a Tier 8 German scout tank, and it is an excellent tank. I'm Tier 8 in a Tier 9 battle because of current scout matchmaking that essentially makes me top tier on this map. We'll talk a little bit about how the scout situation is going to change. But for now, this is what we've got. One of the personal missions, or a lot of the personal missions dealing with scouts, require you to get spotting damage, and that is a very common topic on the forums. People asking, how do I get the amount of spotting damage that I need? And it can become quite a bit. There are two major ways to do it. You can do it actively or passively, or a combination of the two. Actively is what you see the T49 doing over here, which is skiing along the edge of this ridge, surfing this ridge, and then spotting stuff over on the other side. So him or the T71, one of those two guys, has lit up these guys over here. The other way is passive, and that is grabbing one of the bushes that is nearby. There are several maps that have good spots, and the good spots have bushes. You see there WZ is moving up into there, and I am going to take this first bush. Okay, from the south spawn, the best bush is the one in front of me. But it's dangerous to get to precisely because you can see that that WZ is getting up there. So he can spot you there, or if you get up there, you can spot him. I believe the MT actually saw him because I don't have any spots right now. The MT saw him because he's doing the counter to that bush, which is to surf right in this little area right here, not come up so far that you get waxed, but just come up high enough that you can see him trying to get to that spot. This one is not as easily countered. They can counter you from there with a guy that has good spotting, but usually you're fast enough in a scout if you go straight for it to get to this first bush. Like I said, though, it's not as useful of a bush. So what I'm going to look for is an opportunity to move forward. But for the moment, I've gone passive. If you look at my setup, I'm rolling with binoculars and a camo net, which is a passive scout setup. I don't have optics on that. A lot of people, if you're going to run active, are going to run with optics. Some people will actually run with optics, binocs, and a camo net so they can kind of do a combo. I would rather have the gun rammer because when it's time to go offensive, I want that little bit of edge. I called this sit tight weapons hold. Weapons hold is kind of a military term, which means don't shoot. Seems fairly obvious. I'm not shooting because of exactly that right there. The T49 is well inside my white line there, as far as where he should be able to see me when I start to fire or have a better chance. It all depends on camo and some other things like that. And once I saw him go outside of that circle, I'm moving forward. You'll notice the WZ ahead of me is dead, so that's a good thing. The T49 headed off that way. Now there's a T37 unaccounted for, so I am taking a small chance. In addition, if there's a medium with good spotting down in here, also could be a problem. But I'm going to come up here and see if I can get to this bush. Notice as I advance, I use the bush as cover to move into here. And now I'm checking. You see how I swing my view back around like this? I'm trying to make sure that I don't stick my tank out the front of that bush. I also angle in this bush a little bit because if you're too far back, your rear end will stick out, and people about that angle right there will sometimes be able to spot the back of your tank. And you can see then I've picked up the T37 because of my spotting, or he was moving. And it looks like maybe he came in there late. And once again, very tempting to shoot that guy, but I'm going to be weapons tight. 37 still alive. Don't shoot. All right, he's dead. Okay. But the Scorpion, he's pretty close. There's no real bushes in between me and him other than his bushes, and it's kind of dicey. Oh, there's a T95 there, and hey, guess what? The T49 is still trolling around in the middle. So you don't want to be shooting here. Right now, I'm just trying to collect as much spotting damage as I can. And I'm kind of controlling this lane. The other thing I have going on here is I only have a 4502B and a Panther II. So I don't have a lot of big TD guns sitting back behind me to help me wreck these guys. They're doing work on them, but it's only two guys. Again, I was very tempted to go after this guy. Here comes the T95. And the CDC is trolling around there as well. The other thing you got to worry about while you're here, and especially when you're not backed up and they decide to push the 1 and 2 line or not backed up very much, is you got to worry about them driving right up on you and spotting you with a proxy light. Okay, here comes the low. I'm lighting him, so really I'm just letting my team work on these guys as I spot them. And again, I keep checking back. Interestingly, our 4502 is sort of advancing right there. And that's fine because that kind of keeps them busy. Oh man, Magic T95. I saw the low advancing the whole time and somehow the stealth T95 I assume it was his low profile keeping him down below the level of the bushes in front of me right there. Now this is where I start to get worried, okay? So I'm going to have to be ready to do something, especially if they get so close to me that they're going to light me. The nominal minimum spotting range is 50 for a proxy light, which means 50 meters from me I'm automatically lit no matter what else is going on. They have to come up this hill just a little bit to hit the 50 meter point, but they're starting to get close to where I'm getting nervous. If I do get lit, I've got to skedaddle. The bummer here is that there's a Scorpion G and an Oni back behind these three guys who are pushing together. That's a lot of guns, and it's going to be hard to survive. When I do decide to go, I would like to do it before I'm actually spotted. Okay, so close to when I'm being spotted, but before I'm actually spotted, because if my sixth sense goes off, that means I've been lit for 3 seconds. So I'd rather not be standing still for 3 seconds. I want to come out on my terms when I'm ready to come out. So I'm going to time this. Show you what I'm doing with my camera. Good, Scorpion G's dead. One less guy to worry about. All right, let's see. Nice, T95. Low is using him as armor. He gets tracked. They're shooting, 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 and I am ready to go after this low. That's going to be my first target as I come around this corner, or as I come down this hill. And I am getting to about to the point. I lock that guy up. Here comes the T95, and it's time to go. I'll just shoot and go. So obviously I'm lit now. I'm auto-aimed to the low. We kill him off. I cut inside to the IS, get lucky with him missing me. Probably should have continued circling the IS, but the Oni was behind me. So what I'm trying to do there is actually use the low's carcass as maybe a little bit of blocking, or a little bit of coverage from the Oni. I don't think I actually lined it up right. Let's get this going and see if I did. Nope, not quite, but now it's sort of in the way of the Oni. I get hit by my own guy. That's a bummer. The good news is the IS is having a lot of trouble. He must be working on, I don't know, 500 FPS, or not 500 FPS, but 500 ping, 2 FPS or something. And I end up surviving that, and there's the Oni, who actually got a shot in on me. Fortunately, the Oni was shooting AP and not HE, because that would have really hurt. Had it pinned. And I've gone to my heat shells, which I carry quite a few in this tank, and right through his turret with that heat. Kind of a lucky really pin right there. Now I've got an option to swarm in on that Oni. We're winning, but we're not. It's not completely in the bag. I'm going to hang out here for a moment. What I'm worried about is where is that guy, the WT Panzer IV feller. I was wondering if he was on the 1 and 2 line. He wasn't, fortunately, and now he is just there for the farming. So I'll sit here and take these shots. The Oni dies to the M443, and off we go. So I'll go chipmunk speed as we come in. We find the T10, see him up top, and then what I will actually do is I'll back up because that ridge is in my way. Just back up, back up, back up. There we go. Take a shot, bounce. I'm going to back up a little more just so he doesn't get down below the ridge, and we'll shoot him in the side. You'll see that the number was 501. I did not do 501 to him. That means two of us hit about the same time, and the counter just shows both damages add together. That will confuse people on occasion. Shots that are close together or simultaneous or nearly simultaneous will show up as your damage on there because it combines them. And now we're going to push in here. We'll get this T25. So you'll see 4,984 spotting. It'll end up being a little over 2,000 damage because I get one more shot in here as I rush on this T25, showing one of the strengths of the Scout or fast mediums is that you can get to the cleanup damage fast and add a few more shots onto your stats right there, and a few more credits and experience, more importantly. So sit tight, weapons hold. A little example of how to passive scout. Not much active on my case. I kind of let the other scouts do that. Controlling that 1-2 line, wrecking those guys as they move in, and that would have been good enough for at least the first two. I want to say probably the light tank for the Stug and the light tank one for the HTC, or very nearly for the HTC. I don't think it's quite enough for the T55A, but it does show you how it's done as far as passive goes. And I talked about at the beginning, we would discuss slightly the new changes to the scouts. I'll be honest, I'm not sure how that's going to affect either the missions, whether they're going to change them. I haven't looked at the notes. I imagine it might. The bigger question is how the tanks will sit in the tiers and how passive scouting will either change or not change. Change or not change. I have a feeling it won't change too much as long as they don't change the maps around, although the HD maps and changes will come as well. New spots will have to be found if passive scouting actually is something that Wargaming even wants to kind of keep in the game. Right now it is a mission requirement, so at least it's something they think about out there. So you have to hold tight for that one. Also realize with the Black Dog, it's not actually going to be pushed up a tier, and I don't think it's going to be nerfed much at all. So it could end up being a very exceptional tier 8 tank once it has the scout matchmaking removed from it. And that's pretty much all I got. I hope this helps. If you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Otherwise, we will see it.